Hey everyone, welcome back to the show. Tonight, we're taking a trip down memory lane. Remember those snacks and drinks from our childhood? The ones that made those days just a bit sweeter? Well, believe it or not, some of those goodies are no longer on the shelves. And for good reason too. Some were pulled for being unhealthy, some for being dangerous, and some, well, because they were just plain weird. Let's take a look at why some of those treats we loved as kids aren't around anymore.
Let's kick things off with a classic Warheads sour bubble gum. This candy was a staple for anyone who loved a challenge. It wasn't just about the taste, it was about the experience, the thrill, and the camaraderie that came with it. You know, those little atomic bombs of sourness that would make your face pucker up like you just sucked on a lemon? The intensity was unmatched, and it was almost like a rite of passage for kids and teens alike. Who didn't love popping a Warhead in their mouth and waiting for that intense sour kick? The anticipation was half the fun, and the other half was seeing your friends' reactions. It was like a dare, a badge of honor to see who could handle the most extreme sour flavor. Kids would gather around, daring each other to see who could keep a straight face the longest. But it turns out that thrill came with a cost. The very thing that made Warheads so exciting was also what made them problematic. The gum is actually banned in America. Yes, you heard that right. This beloved candy is no longer available in the US. Why? Because it's super acidic, like seriously acidic. The kind of acidity that can do more than just make you pucker up. We're talking enough to wear away your tooth enamel and cause some serious dental damage. Dentists were not fans of this candy, to say the least. I guess all that sour power had to come from somewhere, right? The secret was in the ingredients, a mix of acids that gave Warheads their signature punch. While it was fun while it lasted, it wasn't exactly the best for our teeth. So, farewell Warheads. You gave us some unforgettable moments, but it's time to say goodbye. You were sour, you were extreme, and you definitely left your mark on our taste buds. Even though you're gone, the memories and the taste will linger on.
Next up, we've got a controversial one, Kinder Surprise eggs. These little chocolate eggs have sparked debates and discussions for years. Now, these things are like the holy grail of banned treats. They're beloved by many, especially in Europe and other parts of the world. They're banned in the States, but it's not because of the chocolate. The chocolate itself is delicious and perfectly safe to eat. No, these eggs have a toy hidden inside. A small, often intricate toy that kids can assemble and play with. And that, my friends, is a choking hazard, especially for the little ones. The concern is that a child might accidentally swallow the toy or parts of it. The FDA has strict rules against selling candy with non-edible objects inside, so these treats are not allowed on the shelves. This regulation is meant to protect children from potential harm. I know, it seems a little harsh. Many people feel that the ban is an overreaction and that parents should be responsible for supervising their children. But hey, it's better to be safe than sorry, right? Safety regulations are there for a reason, even if they sometimes seem a bit over the top. Plus, it's not like we don't have enough other chocolate options to choose from. The market is flooded with a variety of delicious chocolates that are perfectly safe. Still, there's something about the thrill of cracking open an egg and finding a surprise inside that just screams childhood. It's a unique experience that many of us cherish from our younger days. Alright, this next one is just plain weird. Remember Roadkill gummy candy? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? Those gummy candies shaped like, well, Roadkill. Okay, so technically Roadkill gummy candies weren't banned, but they did get pulled off the market. And for good reason. I mean, who thought it was a good idea to make candy that looked like squashed squirrels and flattened frogs? Not exactly appetizing, is it? Many animal rights activists and parents thought they were in poor taste, not to mention disrespectful to animals. And honestly, who can blame them? It's hard to enjoy a sweet treat when it reminds you of a tragic accident on the highway. The uproar was enough that they were discontinued. And honestly, I think we're all better off for it. But let's dive a bit deeper into why these candies were so controversial. Imagine being a parent and seeing your child munching on something that looks like a run-over raccoon. It's not just unappetizing, it's downright disturbing. And then there's the message it sends. Are we trivializing the lives of animals by turning their unfortunate fates into a joke? Many thought so, and they weren't quiet about it. The backlash was swift and fierce. Social media was flooded with posts condemning the candy, and petitions were started to get them off the shelves. Retailers quickly took notice. They didn't want to be associated with something that was causing so much outrage. So the candies were pulled, and the company behind them issued an apology. In the end, it was a lesson in understanding the impact of what we create and sell. Not everything that seems like a quirky idea will be received well by the public. So, while Roadkill gummy candies might have seemed like a fun novelty to some, they were a step too far for many others. And that's why they ultimately disappeared from store shelves. Sometimes, it's best to stick with the classics. Gummy bears, anyone? And honestly, I think we're all better off for it.
Chapter 4. Cadbury Chocolate, the Forbidden Chocolate. Now, this one is just cruel. Cadbury Chocolate, that's right, the creamy, dreamy chocolate that's a British institution. But here's the catch. Cadbury Chocolate itself isn't banned in the US. However, the original British version, which many say tastes better, can't be sold here. Why? Because of a legal issue with Hershey's. You see, Hershey's has the rights to make a different version of Cadbury Chocolate in the US, and let's just say it's not quite the same. The British version is said to be richer, creamier, and just all around more delicious, but alas, we Americans are stuck with the Hershey's version. It's a tragedy, I tell you. We're missing out on some seriously good chocolate.
Chapter 5. Flamin' Hot Cheetos too hot for school? Alright, all you spice lovers out there, this one's for you. Get ready to say goodbye to Flamin' Hot Cheetos, at least in California schools. Starting from 2027, you won't find these fiery snacks in any California public school. The state government has banned them. Why, you ask? Because of their lack of nutritional content. We're talking artificial dyes, flavors, and enough salt to make a sea captain blush. The idea is to make school snacks healthier. And let's be honest, Flamin' Hot Cheetos aren't exactly health food. So, as much as it pains me to say it, these fiery favorites will have to stay outside the school gates.
Chapter 6. Cyclamate Sweetened Foods, the sweetener that left a sour taste. Remember the good old days when artificial sweeteners were all the rage? Well, back in those days, there was this sweetener called Cyclamate. It was everywhere. Sodas, desserts, you name it. Until 1969, that is, when the FDA decided to ban it. Why? Well, it turns out that research showed it might cause cancer in lab animals. And that was enough for us to question its safety and led to its ban. I guess you could say Cyclamate left a bit of a sour taste in our mouths. These days, manufacturers have to use safer sweetening options.
Remember those gigantic sodas you used to get at the movies? The ones that were bigger than your head? Yeah, those were the days. But in New York City, there were moves to ban the sale of supersized sodas and other sugary drinks in an effort to combat childhood obesity. It was a valiant effort, but ultimately, the ban was short-lived and eventually struck down. I guess people just love their giant sodas. But no matter how popular these drinks were at movie theaters and fast food restaurants, it's clear that they're not good for us.
Now, this one might seem a little silly, but bear with me. Candy cigarettes. You know those chalky white candy sticks that we used to pretend to smoke? They were a staple at every party and corner store. But these days, they've faced bans in several states, although on a federal level, they're allowed. Why the crackdown? Well, there were concerns about them encouraging children to smoke. I mean, I guess it makes sense. If you're pretending to smoke candy cigarettes as a kid, you might be more likely to pick up the real thing later on. So, while they might seem harmless, candy cigarettes have gone up in smoke in many places.
This next one is a bit scary. Certain Mexican candies, like the popular Dulces de Tamarindo, are tamarind-flavored treats that have been banned. And for good reason. Research found that these candies contain high levels of lead. Lead poisoning is serious business, especially for kids. It can cause brain development issues, among other health issues. So as much as we love a good tamarind candy, it's best to steer clear of these ones.
Ever wonder what gives your citrus-flavored sodas that cloudy, refreshing look? Well, it used to be this stuff called Brominated vegetable oil, or BVO for short. Manufacturers used to use it in many citrus-flavored sodas and sports drinks to help the flavoring oils mix better with water. But it has since been banned from being used in food products. Why? Well, scientists are worried about how it accumulates in the body, along with the potential links to health problems like skin lesions, memory loss, and nerve disorders. So next time you're sipping on a citrusy drink, just be glad that BVO is a thing of the past.
Well, there you have it, 10 banned foods we loved as kids. Some were banned for good reason, some not so much. But one thing's for sure, they definitely bring back memories. It's amazing how our tastes change over time, isn't it? What was once considered a delicious treat is now a distant memory, or in some cases, a cautionary tale. But hey, that's the beauty of childhood, right? We get to enjoy things without worrying too much about the consequences. And then we grow up, and we realize that maybe, just maybe, some things are better left in the past. Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight. Thanks for watching.